Welcome everyone again to another edition of SuperCoach Lads. Just a couple of us tonight, me and old Sluggy. Welcome Sluggy.
Yeah, thanks for introducing me, Butts. Yeah, unfortunately Marco isn't able to attend tonight. He's unwell and will be taking the show tonight. He'll be back in next week for those that want to listen to him.
And
Alright.
yes, the rumours are true. Marco was at Grooven on the weekend and that's why it's a bit cruel.
Yeah, poor form.
Wonderful weekend of footy again, I think. Sluggy, some interesting results in the footy. My boys North got up in a massive upset at the SCG, and then some results that probably you would have thought going into the round. I think there wasn't too many upsets other than that.
Yeah, Kangaroos have been pretty well, upsetting a few sides this year. It's one tip I got wrong this week, which I was pretty shattered with. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go into our teams and how we went this week in Supercoach. So, do you want to start, Sluggy?
Yeah, of course. It's probably been my best week of the year. I had 2,287, which was pretty good. Moved up 9,500 spots, so sitting in the top 23,000 now, which is great. My round 7 rank was actually just shy of 7,000, so I was a bit under there.
Oh.
So it's probably been my best week. I'll talk about some people that I'm happy with. It'd be one that I know you would be happy with right now if you still had him.
Ooh, yeah.
Michael Hibberd. He hit another 90-plus score this week, Butsy. Still outscored Kane Simpson.
Still hasn't hit the ton, has he?
No, no, he hasn't, not yet. But a 99, I think you'll take that. And it was 96 the week before, so yeah, doing great. I'll stick with it, obviously. You're not going to get rid of him now. He'll probably go up in cash this week. So, happy with me captain this week, or last week. Nat Fyfe with 142, which was a great pick. Had him penciled down from the start of the week, even though Butler was talking about him. He's just become a great loophole option or captain option this year. He's had some good scores, and I'll be talking about him later, I'm sure. And I was really happy with the backman from Geelong as well, Jack Henry. Had a big score of 114.
Yeah, very impressive.
And definitely loopholed him. It was a great game for him because those midfielders for GWS, they were just kicking him side forward 50, and they were just kicking clanger after clanger. I think there was 20 plus clangers. So yeah, the backmen scored a lot of points, or Geelong themselves scored a lot of points. Not many went under an 80 score. So yeah, and then the bad, I'll get into that. And Billings, yep,
again.
Yeah, had enough of him now. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets sent down to VFL. 57 and 47 in the week before, so I'm definitely going to be doing a rage trade on him this week. I watched that game, and I haven't watched a lot of footy games this year because my Saturdays and the weekends have been busy, but you just watch that game, and he just wasn't... You just lost him for you wouldn't see him for about 10 or 15 minutes, and when he'd get there, he'd drop a mark, or his disposal efficiency just... he wouldn't hit a target, so yeah, really wasn't happy with the way he played. So he's someone I'm moving on from. And then just one other little one was Zach Langdon copped his score of 42.
Yeah. Very interesting about Billings, to be honest, because I don't think he's playing too bad a football. If I'm right, I think he got 19 touches on the weekend.
In the games that St Kilda won, and especially last year, those were most of the games that he turned up on. And you look at the start of this year, when he played Brisbane, they won, and he hit 130 plus. So when they've been not playing well, he's kind of affected by that. Is that how you see it, Butts?
Yeah, I just think that, especially a player of his calibre, is a half forward, and especially the way St Kilda's playing this year, he's one of the ones in the AFL, and especially at that position, that I think has a major drop off because I still think full forwards can do really well with not many inside 50s in that. Like you look at Ben Brown when we were getting smashed last year, he still kicked a lot of goals, but I think half forwards really pay for it because it's a lot easier to tag when you're easily winning a game. And yeah, unfortunately, he gets a lot of his goals from assists and a lot of points from assists and goals, and hasn't been able to do it this year because he hasn't had the delivery. And yeah, Saints are just costing him. And I reckon if they were winning, he'd be definitely averaging that 100, 110. But yeah, unfortunately for the Saints supporters, he's just really struggling. And I think it's going to be really difficult. And I'm not sure a lot of people are actually going to hold on to him because he's at that price where he's just going to cost you something shocking. Was he around that 350 Sluggy?
Yeah, he's around 370. Yeah, he's definitely got to the stage where it's hard to get rid of him, but I had 180k sitting in the bank, so went straight up to McLean, and then bringing in Spargo this week, I've got another 280k, so it wasn't too bad for me, but if you're downgrading someone this week and then having to trade him, I could understand why you wouldn't.
Yeah, definitely. I had it. I was probably a little bit disappointed. I again had Buddy out, and just a few of my mid prices, my Jaegers, my the left footer from Carlton, whatever his name is, the little fella, number 20, Fisher. They both struggled, and a couple of the rookies struggled this week. But yeah, I don't know. It was looking promising, but then just I died. The tracker just killed me on the Sunday. I didn't do very well on the Sunday, which cost me a few points. And yeah, I was looking for that 2-2. Had the captaincy on Gorney, which was okay. But yeah, probably against really disappointing. He was. I remember messaging you during the game, and he was on 60 at quarter time. Yes. Oh no, sorry, he was on 49 points halfway through the first quarter, and he scored 70 points in 3.5 quarters, which unfortunately. But so I'm sitting 53k now, struggling, but I'm going okay because I've got a lot of money sitting in my team at the moment. Like I've still got 24 trades. But a lot of my rookies and players are all really fattening up with the cash cows. So I'll probably look to might bring in a player this week, but other than that, I'm just going to keep fattening them up and just do it 2 or 3 weeks in probably a month of just bringing in or double primos, double primos. So see how we go. But yeah, disappointing week. Really impressed with Sicily though, and we'll talk about him soon. So my round recap surprise, Sluggy, was something that's really been ticking me off, and especially since that grand final performance, is the Adelaide forwards. Sluggy, if you haven't noticed, I just think they really crumble under pressure. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. You haven't seen much from them this year. Like, compared to what they were last year, I guess, in the regular season, they were just pumping teams through scoring. I guess Eddie Betts is out, so that's a big issue for them. But, yeah, they don't have the force that they had last year. And I can't even say who would be leading their goal kicking. That's how bad I don't even know what's going on with the Adelaide forward line. But
yeah. Well, so they got 2 forwards on 15, Taylor Walker and Josh Jenkins. But the thing, and that's not too bad because one's 10th, one's 11th, and they get Coleman, which is all right. But the thing that really disappoints me with their forward line is when it's a big game, they don't stand up. And then this week, they've played Carlton, pumped them by 50 points. And, of course, Mitch McGovern, who doesn't get a kick, hasn't had a kick in a year and a half, kicks 5 against another crap team. And Josh Jenkins kicks 3. I know he had a really good performance against Rancy a few weeks ago, but from a year and a half, where he's on 700-800k a year, same with Tex Walker, on massive money, to be dominating these sides that are absolutely no good. Carlton's the worst team in the competition. I'm sick of these blokes on massive money just not getting a kick and just beating really bad sides.
Yeah.
So that was my, it wasn't a really surprise, but that's what's been ticking me off at the moment. Just Carlton, against Carlton, where they just, of course, they're kicking massive bags of goals. Do it against a bloody good side and see what happens.
Yeah,
What's your
I agree
surprise,
with that.
bud?
I guess the small forwards haven't been really picking up the load for the Adelaide forward line. When you look at clubs
Yeah,
that are really successful at the moment, like Richmond, they rely on these
yep,
small forwards and they kick a lot of goals. Like last week, Collingwood didn't have a toll, but Jordan De Goey is generally a midfielder, kicked 5, and our leading goal kicker is a midfielder, which is Josh Thomas. So these smalls should be kicking a lot of goals for your sides, and you kind of rely on those midfielders coming through to kick goals. So I can understand
mm,
why people would be frustrated with the way Adelaide's been going, especially in their forward line. And they do. Those Jenkins and um, Hoff, Texie, he can go quiet too sometimes. So yeah.
yeah.
Alright, my surprise. Get into this, shall we? The Nick Nat suspension. It's gonna
Whoa!
it's gonna cost me this week, and I just
Bloody
think,
beautiful.
yeah. So the AFL world is just appalled with the decision. We can't believe this has happened, and we definitely don't want these kind of things happening in our sport. Um, and he's been banned for a textbook tackle, and I'd like to hear your opinion on what I say, Butler. Um, obviously he was charged with rough conduct, and with Australian rules being a contact sport, the way he done his tackle, he had his arms wrapped around the player. He didn't pin his arms. There was no lift. He wraps his arms around his body and drives forward. He doesn't drive down, and when you're running from that kind of distance, you don't want that player getting that clearance, that easy clearance. And because of his size, it looks probably worse than what it should. But I can't see why it's an illegal tackle. We're just all looking on the impact that it has against players, and we're not really looking on what happens, like how the style of tackle is done now. They need to make a change on that panel, because it's really frustrating for us viewers and us supporters that love footy that players are getting in these kinds of trouble for not really that much, and we don't want to see that.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And we look at someone who honestly should have won another Brownlow back to back last year, Paddy Dangerfield. He would have won the second Brownlow because he didn't get votes after that suspension, which the umpires deservedly didn't give him because he couldn't win it anyway. But these are the things that, why do kids go to the footy? Slogan?
Oh, well, let's just think of why people play football. They love that it's a contact sport, and
Exactly.
we're just
But
it's turning into, I'm afraid to see what will happen in the next 10 years. We don't know what's going to happen. The rules, it might not be a contact sport anymore. I know that's an exaggeration, but jeez.
yeah. But that's the big thing. You look at the AFL and you look at why people go to the game. They go to see our buddies, our Nick Natanuis, our Gary Ablett's, our Paddy Dangerfield, our Joel Selwoods, our Nat Fifes. Why do we want blokes like this getting rubbed out for something so simple? That was a perfect tackle. His coach just said, brilliant, well done, great tackle. He's hurt him, but he's done it fairly. And he was not dirty at all, just tried to throw aggression around. Wasn't dirty at all, didn't hit him, didn't try and hurt him. Tried to really smash him into the ground, but I don't think his head was ever intended to get hurt.
No.
And it's just disappointing because luckily they're playing Giants this week at Giants. But if I was a young West Coast fan, I'd be really disappointed with the AFL if I was going to watch my one of my favourite players in Nick Naitanui this week if they were playing West Coast. But yeah, pretty disappointing and unlucky for you. You're going to have to cop a big donut for that one.
Luckily, I'm playing Collar this week. Easy win.
Very, very lucky. Well, it's all about the ranking, isn't it? Wouldn't surprise me if you trading him out.
Nah, no way.
So we're going to now go on to who we're going to trade in. So we're sort of we're 7 weeks down. Things are starting to get things are starting to settle down in Supercoach. Finals positions are sort of up for grabs, and you really need to make a run at the moment, especially if you're playing someone with a player that you might need. So I'll start with the trade-ins, and I'll go start with the defenders. And someone I think you have to have in our game. He's one of my probably 3 favourite players, along with Benny Brown and Gary Ablett, is James Sicily from the Hawthorn Football Club. I absolutely love the fella. I just think he's something that the football world needs. We don't have enough of him, and we can't have all these robots that the AFL are trying to make. We need someone who has a crack. He played Essendon on the weekend, get the 145, and I was really pleased about that. But something that I noticed, Sluggy, was he kicked a goal and ran past Joey Danaher and tried to give him a five. They tried to give him a high five, and I just love the way he just has a laugh with the opposition, has a laugh with everyone. But this guy can seriously play football, and he is arrogant, but he deservedly can be, because he is one of the absolute rising stars of our competition, and I reckon clubs are going to be throwing big money at him in the next couple of years. But yeah, going really well, averaging 112 as a defender forward.
Well, he's definitely the guy you need to bring in. Can't go past it.
Oh, no way. He's sitting at 500,000 at the moment. If you're bringing anyone in this week and you don't have him, get on him now. He's got a break even of 30, and he's onwards and upwards. No, he's going to be averaging. I reckon he'll be averaging over 105 all year, and from a player that's not the midfielder or ruckman, that is massive. So if you haven't got him, bring him in this week. Just upgrade Finlayson. It's not going to cost you too much more money. It's going to cost you 130 grand. Do it. Get Spargo. Get Sicily for Finlayson or Dodie. That's my advice for him. Another one you're going to have to look at is probably Cade Simpson. He's a little bit cheaper now, 520, averaging 107. Without Doherty this year, I think he's going to go really well. They got pumped on the weekend, still hit 97. Clubs let him get the ball, outside player, and he'll hit your points. And the big one, if you don't have him, there's something wrong with you, because Roy Loud, best defender in the comp, Supercoach wise, averaging 117, hit 120 on the weekend, and it's just his consistency that's really impressive. Has gone under 100 once and hit 99. And he's hit 124 times out of 7. So you could nearly put him in your vice captaincy if Adelaide was playing on a Friday night. So they're my defenders that I think you have to have. Then the midfielders it's a really weird one, because you wouldn't have really thought these guys would be the ones that must-haves this year. So Jack McRae, absolutely killing it. Number 1 in Supercoach, I'm pretty sure this year.
Yeah.
Yep, he is easily. He's beating Fife by 60 points.
I think averaging, the next one's gone, I believe.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, I reckon it might be gone. Yeah, averaging 132. We've been going on about him the last few weeks. Is he the real deal? Is he the real deal? Get him in. 630k. He's an outside player. Teams aren't paying him attention. They're not going to. I don't think he's hurting teams enough. I still don't think he's in the top 10 players in the comp, but Supercoach-wise, he's number 1. Get on him if you can. 630k. He's only going to go up, but he's going to win you a lot of games because, again, not many people have him. So if you got the money, I'd spend it wisely. Also, another player
with Jack McRae. Would you be worried about his 2 games against Kangaroos? You don't reckon he'll get a tag somewhere during this season? I know he's an outside player, but if he's having the influence he's been having on these games, he has been playing midfield time as well. He's been getting a few clearances. I think he had 12 last week.
Yeah, I reckon you've got to get him. He just doesn't get tagged. I don't think he hurts you enough. He's a bit like I'm going to say he's a little bit like Tom Mitchell, where he doesn't hurt you enough with his disposals. And if anyone's going to get tagged in that team, it's Marcus Bontempelli, 100%. unless he's playing predominantly forward. But if Marcus is playing in the midfield, he's going to get tagged every day of the week if they're going to tag someone. And also, yeah, Tommy Mitchell, get him in if you don't have him. It's pretty cheap at the moment, $590K, averaging 126. Gives you something week in, week out. It's his cheapest he's been, so get him in if you don't have him. And one to look out for, and I think you have to really look hard at this guy, is Matty Crouch. He's probably in the top 5 players in the comp. Last year, averaged something ridiculous disposals wise. Yeah, and he's sitting at 533K at the moment. Break even at 96. He'll average 110 for you for the rest of the year. He's got an average of 94 at the moment, but he did get injured. But he will average 110 for the rest of the year for you. So get him in this week. He's going to be an absolute steal. What are your thoughts on the forwards and rucks, Sluggy?
Yeah, well, with the forwards this week, I've actually brought in one of these boys. That'd be Toby McLean. He's been phenomenal actually. He's 524K, and he probably won't stay that cheap, I believe. He's got a break even of 56, and he's averaging 110 as a forward. His first week wasn't as good, like with the 91, but he's had 2 scores under 100, which were 91-72, and then the last 5 have all been 110 plus. And one was 125, one was 146. So he's been scoring phenomenal scores. He's a tackling machine. He's getting a lot of midfield time. He's getting those clearances and kicks inside forward 50. I would definitely jump on this guy for the forward line. He's probably the best option if you don't have him. But I'll get into my second bloke. I personally won't be getting him till after the bye, but I definitely will be bringing him in, and that is a Robbie Gray. He's always been able to pump out those kind of scores. Last year wasn't his best year, but he's been getting a lot more midfield time this year. And
yep, definitely.
And if I was to pick anyone from Port Adelaide this year, it'd be Robbie Gray. He's definitely been the best informed in their side. He's had 1 score under 100 this year, so he missed round 1, and for a lot of us that wanted to start him at the start of the year, that kind of hurts us because, you know, we probably chose Billings over Robbie Gray, and just because of that 1 week, you didn't want to start him. Yeah, He's had great scores. I would definitely probably wait till after the buys. I think he's got a break even of it's pretty high, so I wouldn't target him now because he hit an 89 2 weeks ago. Yeah, definitely look for him after his buy because, yeah, you don't want to jump the gun too soon with him. But definitely keep him on your radar. And one more little thing I'll go into. Don't have to talk much about this one, but we'll talk about the rucks. And it was Gorn averaging 130, which is top, which is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
He's a beast. And if anyone didn't start him at the start of this year, you'd probably close the app because there's no way you're gonna compete. Because the second best one there is Grundy with an average of 123, and a lot of us didn't start him this year because we knew that Collingwood were going to play with Mason Cox, and we were afraid that Mason Cox was going to take some of that ruck time, but Grundy, he's almost a tall midfielder. Like, he averages 20 touches. It's crazy, and he's just been pumping out the scores. And I guess the surprise thing, like, you're not going to really... It's going to be hard to trade these guys in. You're basically going to have to wait till the end of the year. And if you got any free trades, yeah, I guess you can do it. Or if someone takes an injury, if someone's out for 4 weeks plus or something, or probably 3 if it's a ruckman. Yeah, but the 2 other rucks that I'll talk about, we wouldn't have thought that this guy would be averaging over 100, which is Callum Sinclair. Did you know he was ranking over 100, Bartsy?
I did not know that. That is very surprising.
Yeah, he's had a good few weeks. I would definitely not jump on him. I've heard people been saying that they might trade him in for Nick Nat if Nick Nat's out because they don't want to cop a 0, but no way I'd go near that. And there's only one other player in the top 100, and that's Stefan Martin, one of
Mm,
Marco's blokes.
yeah.
So yeah, and all the other rucks are under 96 average, so they're definitely the ones you'd want to look at.
Mm. It'd be it's very interesting this year. There's a lot of ruck choices that you can go for.
All right, we'll move on to rookies. Butler.
Yep. So the rookies that I've had a look at and that I'm really impressed with is Spargo from Melbourne, little half forward, small forward. Hit a 78 2 weeks ago and 81 last week. Averaging 79, and I'm really impressed with him. I think he's going to play for a long time. He's just got the footy smarts. He does not athletically. He's not probably up to it as much, but footy smarts. He's just impressive and just gets to the right spots. So I think he's the must-have this week. And then also Ben Ronke from Sydney, and he's hit a 66 and a 92, and he's averaging 79. Yeah, you could bring him in if you want to do a double up, but I'd definitely go Spargo, who's averaging 79 as well. But he looks a lot more. His job security looks a lot better. So rookies to stay clear of, Dan.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a lot that I probably wouldn't target this week, and one of them is actually really highly picked, and that is Flynn Appleby. He's actually picked in a
I
lot
like
of.
him.
You like him? I don't
I,
think.
I, I not
Yeah,
SuperCoach wise, but I like him as a player.
I've seen that as well, especially against Tigers. He did really well. It would not surprise me if he's dropped in the week or two. There's a lot of players that are left to come back in, and I don't think he'll make the Collingwood's best 22 side, so I would not be bringing him in. He's got an average of 57, which I think he scored a 57 and a 58, so yeah, I don't like his job security, and I would not be bringing him in. He's a good back. I don't know how he'd be Supercoach wise, but yeah, I wouldn't bring him in. And a couple of others I'll talk about. I played a bloke that had this guy, Jake Petrecoli, or what? Do you know how to say his name, Butt? Yeah.
Petrusely.
Petrusely, yeah, that sounds better. Yeah, played a guy that had him last week, and I was pretty happy that he had him on because I think he scored a 15 the week before and only hit a 33 this week, so he's definitely do not target him. And the other one is Warpole from Hawks, and he had a lot of upside coming into the start of the year. I actually had him, I think, in the start of Supercoach because I think he had some good JLT games. There was a lot of upside talk with him, but yeah, he hasn't scored too well. I think he scored a 33 this week, and yeah, he's got an average of 48. Oh, I don't like his job security, so I'd be moving on. Getting a
Very
lot of
much so.
messages on our messenger from Marco. It's pretty entertaining. He doesn't like the decision to keep those blokes in either. He said he's going to jump on the Sinclair train too.
I would not have thought he's a spud. So we'll go into if you've got these players, trade them out now. So my primos that I think you should trade out is obviously Billings is a massive one. You've got to get rid of him. Christian Petracca has not lived up to his hype. 4th or 5th year player. I think it's top 5 draft pick. I reckon it was number 2 actually. And he's just been really disappointing. Just not getting into the games. I know he had a dog bite and come back from that, but he just can't. Doesn't even look interested. And I picked him up like 3 weeks ago, so I'm really disappointed in how Christian's going at the moment. And also Alan Christensen, time to get rid of him. You've persisted with him long enough, and yeah, I'll definitely get rid of him. Also, if you've still got, who was it? Oh, sorry, I forget who that was. Yeah, so they're my 3 that you should get rid of: Billings, Christensen, and Petracca. And Jägermeister is going to watch this space maybe in the next couple of weeks because he's being very inconsistent. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, I'll just talk about some rookies, Butler. It's just like rookies that you might potentially want to move on in the next week or two, and This one is a lot of people are dropping him this week, which is Bailey Banfield. He's the highest dropped this week. He's 10,000 are dropping him this week. He scored a 50 last week, which isn't too bad. He's been pretty consistent with his scores. He's got a break even at 61.4, and most of his scores have been over 61, and he's only had that one under 50. So he's got a chance to hit it, but he's not going to make you any more cash. He's been around that 50 to about 65 range. Like, I don't think he's hit any over 70, so I would move him on in a week or two. If you've got the money to get rid of him, you can. Because I kind of wanted to bank up on this one that I'll talk about, which is Jeremy Finlayson. I moved him on this week just to free up that extra cash because he's sitting up a much more pricier price. I think he was, what is he, he's in the 300k range, I know that. I think he's about 340.
Yeah, yep.
He's got an average of 83, which is actually really good. The only problem is that his two last scores, which is 62 and a 65, it's made his break even 86, which he could potentially hit that. He's hit scores over that. I just don't think he's going to make as much cash. He could still turn around if you add another 2 weeks. And I guess the thing that has affected his scoring was, especially last week, he spent a bit of time up in the forward line because Jeremy Cameron and Rory Lobb weren't playing, and they're likely to be in this week. So if he goes down back, he might score his usual scores. He kicked 2 goals of the 4 that GWS kicked, so yeah, he's someone I'd look at moving out in a couple of weeks. And one I'll talk about who is another popular drop is Nick Holman. A lot of people are still trying to get rid of Nick Holman, and I don't understand why. He's 6,500 to get rid of him, and his scores this year have been 96, 92, 82, and that shocking 32, 88, and 33. So he's had those 2 bad scores. He's got a break even of 63. He's only had 2 scores under that, and the 4 that are over are 80 plus. If he was to hit another 80 plus game this week, like, that'd be great. And he hit it, he's got an average of 70, but that's because it's influenced by those 230s. I guess it's just, you don't know what score he's going to get, but he can pull out those big scores. He's a tackling machine. He's a big body midfielder that, well, when he's playing in midfield, sometimes he gets moved to the forward, but yeah, I'm holding on to him. Don't know if I'll get rid of him next week for Matt Crouch or bring a defender in. But yeah, they're the rookies I'm talking about. But
Interesting.
I'd like to hear on your great picks, Butler. Apparently you are the Captain Corner King.
So it's been widely known now around the SuperCoach circles that I've been nailing, and from what I've heard from our listeners, it's really the only reason people want to listen to the show, and I think that's fair enough. So in the captaincy corner last week, I again did really, really well. I told you to chuck the captain on young Nat Fife, and he hit a 140, and I also gave you Maxi Gorn to potentially put your captain as, and he hit 130. So well done if you again listen to my captaincy predictions. I again nailed it. So yeah, well done to myself. What are you thinking for this week, Danny boy?
I think we were discussing this earlier, and I think that we're trying to do the same thing this week because we don't have many options for loopholes.
No.
Well, I know I don't. So I'm stuck with having a vice captain on early, which he plays on the Friday night, which is Tom Mitchell. So got to back him in. Hopefully he does well against his old side, but you know, he's had a lot of those scores over 120. He's had those 2 duds, but his first 3 weeks were amazing. Hopefully he gets a score like that. The 167, 148 or 149 would be great. But his last 2 have been 120 plus, so he be pretty happy with a 120 plus. And my captain, your captain, Butts, Nat Fife. Oh, he's been in phenomenal form this year. I would be looking. He's like the Dangerfield of last year. You always try to make him a vice or captain option, and that is something I've been doing the past few weeks, and it's come off pretty great. His last score, well, last week was 142, which was a great score. I think it was the highest in my side. 114 the week before, which isn't too great, but then he's had 151, then a 101, and then 160. So, yeah, he can definitely pull out those big scores, and that's what you kind of want. And I'd like to hear your opinion, Butts.
Yeah, I'm probably going to agree with you there, Swaggy. I'm good this week. I'm putting my vice captain on Tommy Mitchell. I think I'm not sure how he's going to go, but he's probably more of a safe bet. And I'm going to put my captain on Fife again. He's just in ripping form, like you've mentioned. Some other possibilities if you don't have either of them players. Buddy Franklin coming back from injury, hopefully on Friday night against the Hawks. He may be someone you want to look at. Even a Sicily averaging 112 Friday night pick. Yeah, so they're my main two. And yeah, it'll be just. I think a lot of people have very similar ones this week. But another captaincy one who's probably a little bit out of the blue and not many people use him as a captaincy is Grundy from Collingwood, who plays Geelong, and they really don't have a great ruckman at all. So I think he's going to dominate this week, and wouldn't surprise me if he gets. What am I going to predict? I'm going to predict Grundy's going to hit 130. I'm going to predict Fife's going to hit 120. I think he's going to get tagged against St Kilda, but I'm going to predict 120. And I think Tommy Mitchell, I think he's going to go okay. I think he'll get 30 touches and probably hit that 120 as well. So I think it's going to be a low week for captaincies.
Yeah, I really feel that this week could be the week that Dangerfield steps up his game. He's playing as a Collingwood side that don't generally tag midfielders. Not that I guess Dangerfield's been getting tagged, but he does get a lot of looks, and it wouldn't surprise me if he goes 130 plus this week, and I'd love to see it from his side. I was really tempted to chuck the captain on him, but nah, it's a bit too risky. I'd rather stick with Fife.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see Dusty Martin not even getting a mention more in our captaincy in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It just shows you how
poor scores.
It shows you. Yeah, it shows you two things. It shows you he's not playing that well, but also the main one, it's showing you how well Richmond is going, that it allows him to push forward, which is very interesting. So just, Sluggy, with the last couple of minutes, I've got 5 topics, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your head, okay?
All right, that's a good one.
Okay, Premier for 2018.
It's going to hate me saying this, but yeah, Tigers. I think Tigers are in the best form, and if I was doing any kind of tips right now, I wouldn't pick any team against them. And they're the team coming into a Premier, in a grand final game. They have that pressure, and that is what wins games in grand finals. So
nice. Number one AFL Supercoach player in 2018.
Well, you got to go with what the real player is, and that's I was going to say Jack McRae, but
come on.
Yeah, I'll go with Jack McRae. Just because everyone's got Max Gawn, he would be tight with it. But yeah, Jack McRae, I don't think anyone expected him to explode as much as he did.
Coleman medal.
Oh, shit. I'm going to have to back your boy in. Benny Brown.
Yes.
I know he's leading it, but he's just been phenomenal this year, and I've been a big fan of him. But he's just a unique player, and players can't defend him very well. So, yeah, I'll back him in.
How many possessions you'll get on the weekend?
Who's that?
You.
Me? Oh. Be lucky with 8, I reckon.
Take 8, nice. Pendles or Treloar, who's better?
Oh, depends what you mean for Supercoach or not.
Anything.
Anything?
Pendles or Treloar, who do you go?
Well, if you're talking footy-wise, you've got to say Pendlebury. He's his efficiency by foot, and he's just a phenomenal player. He just racks up those goal assists, and he's just so smart with the play. Supercoach wise, go Adam Treloar because he'll average 30 plus touches.
Pies, where will they finish this year?
Oh, you're just trying to put me under the pump and trying to make these big calls, aren't you?
Yes.
I say between 7th and 10th.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year. Oh, Tim Kelly. Oh, for sure. That guy has been an absolute beast this year. I don't feel sorry for Geelong, but bringing in Gary Ablett, like, he really didn't need to. This bloke is phenomenal in the midfield. I would take him over, if I was to start a team today and I had the option of picking Gary Ablett or Tim Kelly, I'd take Tim Kelly. He's got a lot more years. He's got a lot more years in him, and he's been phenomenal.
Nice. And last but not least, who's going to win our Supercoach flag? Quick.
I'll back myself in. I'm not going to say you because I know that's what you're trying to say.
Nice. Okay. Another good episode, young fella. Really, I enjoyed it again.
Yes, it was.
Again, it's something that I look forward to each week. And yeah, so just to let all our listeners know, Eden absolutely won again in the ones, and we've won 3 on the trot now. Going really, really well. North Melbourne, for me again, I'm really, really impressed with them. I think in 3 years' time, when Josh Kelly signs over with us, Benny Brown's won 2 Colemans, that we're going to be a chance for a flag in 2 or 3 years. And yeah, we've got a big game against Richmond this week, but I definitely, no one will think this, but I think we'll beat them at Etihad Stadium, and I think Ben's going to go right off. He's going to kill Rance, and he'll kick 6, and Eden absolutely will again win by 6 goals.
Don't think he got a chance against the Tigers, but yeah, we'll go ahead with that. And it was a good night. It'll be a lot better next week when we can have our boy Marco back in it.
Yeah, I missed him tonight, and he's watching on Tooth. Well, thanks, Marco.
All right. Thanks for listening in, guys. We've really appreciated that we've had some viewers, and we just enjoy doing this. We just look forward to it all week. And yeah, thanks everyone.
And yeah, and again, like we've said from the start, it's not about the viewers. We like that you listen, but ultimately it's about us having fun, and that's why we do it. We don't care if not many people listen. We love the ones that do. So thanks, Sluggy. Have a great night, and we'll chat soon.